Good afternoon. Greetings all.
Hi.
Recording going.
Cool.
That's great.
So we start. So welcome in everybody, and good afternoon. I hope that you all have good lunch and coffee. Welcome to our workshop, Millions Served and Billions Saved, the Impact of OER Marketing. I am Ann Sakesh, and I'm honored to be the moderator today as we dive in the conversation about the power of marketing in the world of OER, or Open Educational Resources. So we are fortunate to have two incredible speakers with us, both from OpenStax at Rice University, an organization at the forefront of OER innovation. First, we'll have Lindsay Joseph, Marketing and Communications Lead for Higher Education at OpenStax. And joining Lindsay is Sarah Bidwell, Director of Creative Services at OpenStax. And together we share insights into the strategies that help OpenStax expand its reach, engage more educators, and ultimately serve millions of students. And yeah, so let's get started. Please join me and welcome our presenters, Lindsay Joseph and Sarah Bidwell. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us post lunch. Hope everybody has some caffeine pick me up. I have my tea. Lindsay, you got your emotional support water bottle or some coffee?
I do. I have my emotional support water bottle right here. Some like nice ice cold water.
Perfect. I just sent our slides flying. Let me get back there. To start off, if you hadn't already, we would invite you to complete this Mentimeter survey just to let us get to know you a little bit more. And we'll reflect on some of your responses in just a few moments here when we get there. But looking to know, what's your biggest pain point when it comes to marketing OER? What's your biggest question? What's your biggest blockage that you're thinking of or hoping that we address today? We'll certainly try to infuse those, and we'll make sure to leave some time for Q&A at the end as well and address everything that we can. But again, really want to thank everyone for bookmarking this session and joining us for Millions Served and Billions Saved, the impact of OER marketing. As Ann said, myself and my colleague Lindsay are here representing OpenStax, which is an educational initiative and a publisher of open educational resources based at Rice University. We chose this title for good reason, since the publication of our first openly licensed textbook in 2012. We have had the privilege of serving 36.1 million students and saving them collectively $2.9 billion. And we're very proud of those figures. We're continuing to grow, but those numbers in part were secured through the efforts of strategic marketing, really, and understanding our audience and what they needed from us when. And the marketing teams at OpenStax, both past and present, that have gotten us to this point, have learned some best practices, and we've learned some tips and tricks that we'd like to share with you today. I know we already introduced ourselves briefly, but again, I'm Sarah Bidwell. I am the Director of Creative Services at OpenStax. And Lindsay, I'll turn to you, let you introduce yourself.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. Hi, folks. My name is Lindsay Josephs, and I am the marketing and communications lead for higher education here at OpenStax. So managing campaigns for all of our higher education resources and OER. It's really great to be here today.
It is. And Lindsay and I are on the East Coast, just so you know, so it's a little bit later for us. It's 3 o'clock here. We had our lunch a while ago. Okay, so here's our agenda today for our time together. Very quickly, we wanted to start with where to start, right? That's the beginning is always the good place to start with these things. Just a basic reminder. And then moving into step 2, when we reflect upon our marketing practices and what we have found to be effective and work and really drive growth, we've broken that down into 4 steps that we hope are easy to remember, easy to understand, and easy to implement. So we'd like to walk you through those 4 parts of your outreach strategy. And then we're going to put it all together just to show a case study of how each of those 4 things work together in our Organic Chemistry 10E publication. And then finally, at the end, we're going to bring it home with some Q&A, and we are going to offer a free toolkit that is jam-packed with resources and templates and things that you can take with you and share with your colleagues to help you start your journey. So I think, oops, I'm clicking in the wrong places. So just to start, and we'll get to those Mentimeter results in just one second, but when we start to think about marketing, one thing I wanted to mention is, we always want to design with the end in mind and have your goal, and we'll talk about those things, but it's also easy when you're stepping into the realm of marketing to get caught up in the scale of things that have to be done, the tasks, the day-to-day. Marketing in many ways can feel monolithic, can feel like pushing that boulder uphill, and we understand that oftentimes those who are promoting their OER are a team of one, and they're working with limited time and limited funds and resources. So one important step before you even start planning is just to remember that we are all privileged enough to be part of an open education community that believes in sharing of knowledge, of pedagogy, of technology, of resources. And there is a lot out there already, and people love it when you use what they've created. We certainly do. And, Lindsay and I and the entire OpenStax team are here to help too. We're open to outreach. Institutions to varying degrees. Some have large and established OER programs. Others are starting to get there. But look at what institutions have to offer, contact other OER coords or librarians and see what they're doing. There's also online resource libraries, OpenStax being one, but there's many other out there. So we just want to make that point before you jump in with the plan and start thinking about all that there is to do. First, remember that there are things out there and bring the resources together that make sense for you, and start with that toolkit in mind. And then from there, we can move into the 4 parts of really planning your outreach for your resource. So these are the 4 steps that Lindsay and I, when we reflect on our work, really kind of see.
Sorry, Sarah, I don't see the slide change.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Sorry about that, everybody. Yeah, so these are the 4 steps now that you can see them that Lindsay and I have kind of seen unfold in our work. So first, of course, you got to set up a goal for yourself. We'll talk about that. That's going to lead into who your audience is, and really niching down who you're going to be talking to and who would benefit most from the resource you're promoting. From there, then you can look into the distribution tactics, and there are many, and we will try to help you navigate those waters and find what works for you. And then ultimately at the end, how can you measure and amplify your success, continue to ride that wave into your next OER resource from there.
Oh, we're good. Thanks, Sarah.
Okay.
As Sarah mentioned, we like to follow this 4-step process in order to really streamline the creation of marketing campaigns, or to streamline the creation of campaigns to promote OER that we have created. The most important step, and probably the first step, is what is your goal? Your goal serves as your North Star. It is your compass. It is what ultimately guides you throughout the process. I'm sure that a lot of folks here have heard of SMART goals. Um, I know a lot of us have either like had to create them for like work purposes, or maybe in your own personal life, you like to set SMART goals. But we think that the SMART goal model is a really great way to set a goal that is attainable and measurable and works best for you. A lot of folks have different goals, and ultimately, the goal that you set should be one that truly reflects your needs and what you're hoping to do. So, some of the most common goals that folks may have are you're aiming to build faculty awareness of OER. You may also be working to address common OER misconceptions. We'll dive into this on the next slide, but there are a lot of misconceptions about OER that serve as barriers to adoption. So you may be wanting to lead a campaign on your campus where you can address these misconceptions. Some folks may have their goal as having faculty adopt OER. So if there are already OER practices or OER programs at your institution, you may be interested in promoting existing OER and encouraging faculty to adopt them. Lastly, your goal may actually be to build student awareness and engagement. Some folks may want to start by recruiting students to serve as advocates for affordability and for open resources. So your goal may be to build awareness among students of the high cost of textbooks and the fact that OER is a viable alternative, ultimately encouraging those students to serve as advocates and lead the charge on your campus.
Spot on. Thank you, Lindsay. So this will take us into step 2, which is your audience, right? So in thinking about your goals, once you have that in place, and if we just kind of whiteboard out and work together here, if your goal is faculty adoption of a resource that you have produced, you could say my audience is, and let's say it's a biology. Let's go with, we'll go bio today. You could say that you're targeting biology faculty, but what we have found is niching that down is so much more fruitful, if you will. So what level of biology teacher are you focusing? Are they instructing first and second year students? What institution size or type might they be at? So, you just really want to bring it down. Are they local? Are they in certain states? How are you going to identify what you mean by biology faculty? And then you want to think about what their objections could be, right? What's the path to get to that biology instructor? You might have to help them understand what OER is first, right? And then from there, you have to get them to trust your resource first and trust that it's quality and it's got everything that they need for the scope and sequence of their course. That it does come with aligned courseware or whatever it may be, right? That accompanies your resource, but you really want to think about your audience in that clear of a way so that you can serve them with the content through your marketing, right? Then you can create infographics to those ends. You can create social media posts, blog posts, host webinars, present at events, and make sure that you're addressing those pain points as you go through. Just looking at my notes really quick to see if I think that's good.
Thank you so much, Sarah. So once you've determined what your goal is and narrowed down your audience, you're going to want to focus on what distribution tactics will you use and what marketing creation tools will you use. And we found that this simple formula of free resources plus feedback from colleagues equals marketing magic. There are, of course, a bunch of costly marketing tools out there, but there are also dozens and dozens of free high quality resources that you can use to assist in your content creation and distribution. I think that's like, it's similar to the misconception that folks have with OER. They think that because it's free, it's not high quality, and that's not the case. Even at OpenStax, we use a lot of free marketing tools in our day-to-day. So for example, some folks at OpenStax use Canva to create really beautiful graphics and flyers, and they can do all of that for free through a free Canva account, or some schools might even offer paid subscriptions to faculty. So you can get some of those extra tools that Canva offers with a paid subscription. Next, social media is one of the most viable ways of reaching a large number of people. So you may be interested in creating a Blue Sky account or an Instagram account to promote OER at your campus. But it's also another really great option is reaching out to your institution's social media team and seeing if they'll post something about your OER on their socials. This is a win-win. You don't have to create a whole new account and focus on getting followers. Meanwhile, your school's social media team has some really exciting content that they can use to fill their feeds. At OpenStax, we have actually found that some of our most high-performing posts are those in which we promote OER initiatives at different universities and colleges throughout the US. So I think it tells that folks are really interested in that type of content, and your school's social media team probably will be as well. And additionally, with social media, you do not need to start with every single platform at once. You don't need to have a presence on 8 million different social media accounts right out of the gate. It is smart to pick one, start small, focus on that one account, and build it. Next, Google Groups and the OER Commons are really great ways to promote OER that you've created. There are a lot of different Google Groups out there. Some of my personal favorites are the Spark Open Education Forum, OER Digest, and the CCC OER community email. And these are really great places for you to post your OER and also to find tips and tricks from other instructors that they have utilized to promote their own OER. Of course, other things that are very helpful are regional and virtual OER summits like this one. It's a great opportunity to promote the OER that you've created, to promote or to share the marketing tools that you have taken advantage of, and show the impact of your OER efforts at your institution. Other institutions may offer a faculty and administrator toolkit to assist in the creation of content, and of course, holding information sessions on your campus for faculty or students to attend is a really great way to get that one-on-one and small group connection with folks who are interested in your OER. It's really important to note that OER marketing is not one size fits all. What works best for you may not work best for another instructor, and that's perfectly okay. Additionally, we really do recommend starting small. Pick one platform, pick two platforms, and create a really strong presence on that platform. Not every platform or distribution tactic will offer the same value for you, and that's perfectly okay. Something that I also really like to remember is that doing one marketing activity is more valuable than doing none at all. Traditional textbook publishers have marketing teams with hundreds or even thousands of employees. You're only one person, and for many faculty and librarians and even OER coordinators, promoting and marketing OER is only a fraction of your role. It's really important to understand what your bandwidth is, to set boundaries, and don't feel bad if you can't do the work that teams of hundreds of people are able to do.
Absolutely. +1 to that, Lindsay. And I will just say too, this is the stage in the process where the marketing starts to feel monolithic, starts to feel really big. So that's why we keep going back to keep it simple, use what's existing, take good care of yourself. And to the audience point, remember, find the one social media platform where your identified audience, oops, here we go. Yes, has found a home. Sorry, you threw me off there with this. It's okay. Like, what? Go
So now
ahead.
I second everything Sarah said. Sarah is a marketing genius, so her advice is definitely world class. Thank you to folks who filled out the Mentimeter. If you would like to fill it out and you haven't already, in the chat, we shared the website and the code, and I will put that again in the chat. So at the beginning, we asked folks what their biggest OER pain point is. And from here, you can see that a couple of folks said that they're not marketers, they don't know where to start. And other folks said that they don't have the time and that the faculty at their institution aren't interested in OER. These are super common problems or challenges to face, and the strategies and the steps that we are sharing here today can help you save time, streamline creation, and give you some tools and strategies that you can implement even if you have no marketing background. All right. I'll give folks a minute or two to fill out the second question if you haven't already. But based on your OER needs, what platform or tactic would be best for you to start with? And you don't need to limit yourself to the ones that we shared on the previous slide. What do you think would be best for you in terms of your needs, your bandwidth, and your goal? For the existing responses, I really like the idea of targeted campus newsletters. That is a really powerful distribution tactic. As you know, faculty use email all the time, every day. And I'll make this a little bigger.
Yeah, sorry, I'm like zooming in. Did you see what I
Oh
did?
no, you're good. I'm so sorry.
It's totally fine. I'm managing. Yeah, newsletters are really great. Canva has a free landing page builder that you might be able to use, if the website is no longer there, or your IT department might be able to put one up for you. Great.
Yeah, a lot of schools out there have libguides on accessible through usually their library's website. And a lot of institutions on the libguides, either they're solely focused on OER or they feature a section on OER. And that can be a really great way to utilize something that your institution already has and that a lot of folks utilize in their day-to-day. Sarah, do you want to go back to the slides?
Sure. All right, place. I don't know where my slides went though. Hold on. They like disappeared. Give me 1 quick second, sorry. When we popped the Mentimeter open, it like erased my slide deck. All right, here we are. Sorry about that, folks. This is not. All right, let's try this again. Start from, where were we, Lindsay?
Slide 11.
11, okay. Is that working for everybody? We got there? All right, I'll
Thanks,
continue.
everyone. Thanks, Sarah, and thanks everyone for your patience as we navigate this. My afternoon coffee hasn't fully kicked in yet, so I really appreciate it. But this slide really just hones in on some of the information that we've already shared. You don't need to take on every platform at once, and marketing success does not happen overnight. I could probably count on one hand the number of case studies or instances that I can think of in which an organizations' marketing campaign blew up overnight and they saw overnight success. Your audience can only take in so much information at once. Faculty are so resource constrained. They're being pulled in a million different directions at all times. So in a lot of ways, just choosing one or two platforms or strategies is the best way to go. It allows you to really focus on creating a really great marketing resource and a really great informational resource for folks. And instructors are able to get the information that they need from that one platform or from that one tactic. They don't have to jump to a bunch of different social media accounts or a bunch of different websites to get the information that they need. And lastly, just be kind to yourself. You do so much work. OER marketing is such a fraction of what you do. And even though the work is really important, so are all of your other job responsibilities. Be realistic about what can and can't be done, and don't get down on yourself if you're not able to do what marketing teams of dozens or hundreds of folks are able to do. Something that we really like to do at OpenStax is repurpose the content that we've created. So for example, if we send out an email to instructors, we may condense that into a LinkedIn post. This is really helpful for saving you time. And of course, it's really beneficial for allowing us to really share the information that we need onto platforms without doing the work that it takes to post content and create content on two different platforms.
We love to repurpose. Okay, and just bringing it home with your outreach strategy. So at this point in practice, not today, but you have your goal in mind, you have a target audience in mind, you've decided on what platforms you have the time to use and your audience is there, so you have distribution channels available to you, you've developed the content to get out there and promote your resource. So now you're off to the races, and step 4 is really to measure and amplify your success. Thankfully, there are ways you can automate. If you use, for example, one of the meta platforms like Facebook or Instagram, you could log in and like pre-schedule posts to go out for you, is just one example. So you automate when you can, delay send emails, those types of things can help, make things more efficient. But as you're deploying your content and you're promoting your OER, and there's just some other examples here of ways that you can do that, but you really want to measure your success or failure, if we're honest, because it does happen and it's okay. Marketing is very much so a number of experiments all bundled into one, and you quickly learn what emails get opened and what LinkedIn or what social media posts get liked and shared and what events get registrations at. And if it's working, you can do more of it. And if it's not working for you, let it fall off and be a learning opportunity. That's, 100% what we do every day is looking at what works and what doesn't work. So part of the toolkit we'll share with you at the end has a metrics spreadsheet in there that Lindsay and I like to use ourselves. So we'll share that with you. But this is really helpful for a number of reasons. One, it can help you get buy-in from faculty and administrators when you go to apply for any OER grant work, right? You can show that your experience, you show that you have the success, show that you have a built-in platform. And it can also help you advance your professional pathway. So a few different reasons to monitor that. It will also give you valuable feedback. The community does love to chime in and provide input. That is a wonderful thing that you should lean into. So ask folks how they're doing, how the content's resonating with them, if they like your resource, if they would give you a testimonial to use. Those are all valuable pieces of feedback. To amplify, so you're measuring and then to amplify, think about other ways that you yourself can get out there, again, within your own limits. You can present at events, just like here at OER Arizona, or Open Ed is another big one where the community comes together. There are free, if you wanted to create a press release announcing your resource, I think we tend to think of press releases as you really have to have a huge story to tell. And that might be if you're trying to get on the front of the Wall Street Journal or something like that with national coverage. But if you're just looking to start small and gain awareness around your resource, there are sites like prlog.com that will post your press release for free. So you can talk about your resource, where folks can find it, publish it there, and then take that press release and find websites that publish lists of free resources for folks to use. Most are happy to share your resource with their readers. So I've had pretty good luck just reaching out and asking people if they'd be interested in sharing it with their readership. And usually they say, sure. And then finally, of course, you want to give back and share because it is the open community. So if you're finding success, tell others what it is so they can experience that success as well. We have one more Menti, last one, and we will save the answers for this one for the end. We would love to know if you have an OER success story. And this is for two reasons. One, we love to celebrate good news and wins. And two, OpenStax is always happy to help you promote and share the stories. As Lindsay mentioned, some of our most engaged social media posts are when we tag institutions and faculty that are doing great things in OER. So if you have a story to share that you'd like us to promote for you or just celebrate at the end of the session, please share that with us. And that code, and that's still in the chat, right, Lindsay? So I can move forward. We're
Yes.
good. All right, great. So I'm going to turn it back over to Lindsay, and she's just going to put these 4 steps together for you as a case study to illustrate what was done for organic chemistry 2E.
Thank you so much, Sarah. So a little bit of background about organic chemistry, the 10th edition. The most commonly used textbook in organic chemistry has historically been John McMurray's Organic Chemistry. The first 9 editions of the book were published by a for-profit textbook publisher. For the 10th edition, Professor McMurray decided that he wanted OpenStax to publish the 10th edition of this world-renowned textbook as a free, openly licensed resource in honor of his son who passed away from cystic fibrosis. This was such a special endeavor for us, not only to honor the legacy of Professor McMurray's son, but also this is a huge step. This textbook has been used in thousands and thousands of classrooms and courses since 1984. So for us, it was really important to create a meaningful, focused, and strategic campaign. So the first thing that we did is identified what our goal is. And we had 2 main ones here. One, we wanted to raise awareness of OpenStax in this new discipline to folks who were unfamiliar with OpenStax, or for folks who were not currently using open educational resources. Although OpenStax has textbooks in the sciences, organic chemistry was our first ever higher level textbook. All of our other textbooks are for introductory courses. So it was really important to showcase to folks that, hey, we have this exciting new discipline. And of course, we wanted to drive adoptions or usage amongst both our current user base and amongst folks who are not using OpenStax. Next, who is our audience? For us, we had 2 main audiences. One of our audiences was existing users who teach organic chemistry. So we have a lot of folks who use OpenStax's biology textbooks who teach multiple different biology and chemistry and physics courses. So organic chemistry for a lot of these folks was just another OpenStax resource that they could utilize to assist in their instruction. Then as it pertained to non-users, we were primarily targeting organic chemistry instructors at 2-year technical and community colleges and 4-year colleges and universities in the United States. For us, it was really important to address quality and content misconceptions, especially amongst non-users. So some of the content misconceptions were that this 10th edition, there'd be a ton of big changes and the quality would go down because it went from a paid book to a free book. And then in terms of quality, a lot of folks had misconceptions about OER. OER is low quality. Since anyone can edit it, there can be a ton of errors. It may not help my students learn. So it was really important for us when addressing both of these audiences, especially the latter audience, to address these misconceptions and quality concerns. Next, diving into our distribution tactics. So at OpenStax, we have a small but mighty marketing team of 5 individuals, including me and Sarah. So for us, marketing organic chemistry was really a group effort. We created a lot of graphics using Adobe Illustrator and Canva, the free resource. You can see here on the left that this is a graphic created by our incredible graphic designer, Micah. It was really important for us to create graphics that align with OpenStax's brand, but also highlighted the exciting features that this new book was offering. We shared information about the book's publication on our various social media accounts. We hosted a variety of different webinars. These webinars served 2 primary functions. One of the webinars, or one set of webinars, was focused on highlighting the ancillary resources that came with the textbook. One of the misconceptions that Sarah touched upon earlier is that folks think that OER textbooks don't come with ancillaries like test banks and lecture slides, and that's not the case. Organic Chemistry 10th edition comes with a variety of these ancillary resources, and we wanted to promote these to folks during webinars. Meanwhile, our second set of webinars was focused on highlighting our relationships and partnerships with several different technology companies, which we will talk about in a little bit, but it was important for us to highlight our partnerships with these well-established higher ed organizations, as well as to show folks that OER can be paired with technology. You don't have to give up something that is really important for your course in order to use an OER. We utilize blog posts, mass emails, and press releases also to reach folks at various touch points. For us as a larger organization promoting a very well-known text, it was really important for us to have a broad reach amongst the organic chemistry instructors that we were trying to connect with. This is an image of part of our metric spreadsheet that we utilize to keep track of the metrics for every single piece of content that we released about organic chemistry over the course of about a year and a half. Usually when we publish a book, we don't announce it broadly until the book is published. But with organic chemistry, we actually announced the publication of the book a year beforehand because it was such a unique project and because we were tasked with reaching out to individuals who use one of the 9 editions of John McMurray's organic chemistry book and encouraging them to use this OER version. This is an image or the spreadsheet that we are going to share with you at the end of the presentation looks exactly like this. And for us, it was a really great way to, 1, monitor our performance and make adjustments where needed. So if we saw that a bunch of our Twitter/X posts weren't performing well, why weren't they performing well? Was it the time of day? Was it the content? What is it about our Twitter/X audience that they weren't resonating with our posts? And secondly, for me, from a professional development standpoint, this was really important for highlighting the impact of my work. This was really great for adding quantitative numbers to my resume and also for advocating for myself for promotions or for if there were certain committees at Rice University that I wanted to join, highlighting the fruits of my labor was really important in advancing my professional career. And it also just felt really good. It really felt good to be like, wow, like we did this. We created these materials, we raised awareness, we encouraged folks to utilize these resources. It's very special to keep track of these metrics and see how much your platforms and you have grown as a marketer. Step 4, measuring and amplifying our success. As I mentioned before, one of our sets of webinars was focused on highlighting the technology partnerships that we have for our organic chemistry textbook. So OpenStax has a program known as the Technology Partners Program, in which we partner with low-cost education technology providers to offer educational technology aligned with OpenStax content. So our books are free to use online, our ancillaries are free to use online, but these technology partners are optional low-cost resources ranging between $0 and $40. For us, it was really valuable to highlight our relationship with these two organizations. One was Cengage WebAssign, which super popular. If you're a student, you've probably heard about WebAssign, and then Active Chemistry. So for us, we were amplifying our success by not only sharing the book and its impact and promoting these webinars on our social media accounts, but also through the social media accounts and through the email lists of these individuals. Additionally, we leverage our existing relationships with different publication outlets to promote the book. So of course, since OpenStax is part of Rice University, we collaborated with Rice's PR team to announce the publication of this book. We also leverage our relationships with Inside Higher Ed, Forbes, and PR Newswire to promote the publication of this book. And connecting with these individuals was really powerful, not only for reaching a broader audience, but our social media posts in which we promoted these articles highlighted by other publications performed really well for us, which was exciting. And lastly, we really focused on that one-on-one instructor and institutional outreach. At the end of the day, we can partner with as many organizations as we want and send out as many mass emails and hold these big webinars as much as we want. But those one-on-one interactions, that one-on-one communication with instructors or with OER coordinators or librarians is where we really solidify those relationships and we're able to one-on-one answer questions, address misconceptions, and truly show our users and our audience that we are there for them. We are alongside them in advocating for OER and for providing strong, high quality, affordable, and accessible learning experiences for their students.
Good there.
And this is really exciting for us. So we won a bestie for best higher ed product launch for organic chemistry. It was really exciting for us to be recognized for our marketing efforts and the success of our marketing campaign. But it's important to note that this award wasn't just bestowed upon us. We applied for it. We shared our metrics that we gathered through the spreadsheet. We shared our strategy. We shared our successes in the content that we've created. And the editors of EdTech Chronicle decided that OpenStax's organic chemistry product launch was successful and worthy of this award. It's really important that you're comfortable tooting your own horn and highlighting your own successes. If you don't highlight your successes, other people may not, and it's really important that you do so in order to form those one-on-one connections with folks. And also, this is something to be proud of. This is something to celebrate. Marketing OER is not easy. Addressing misconceptions is not easy. Encouraging faculty to switch from a resource they've used for years or even decades to OER, something they're unfamiliar with, is really challenging, comes with a lot of hurdles. Your successes deserve to be celebrated, and ultimately it's up to you to showcase these successes, share them with folks, and also recognize to yourself, like, hey, I did that. It's something to celebrate.
Absolutely. Pat yourself on the back because that's a lot of work that goes into that. And this is a huge feather in Lindsay's cap. Just want to underscore this. She worked tirelessly on this campaign for over a year, but it really does include all of the elements we've talked about here today, from starting with a goal, niching down that audience, finding the best distribution platforms that work, and then amplifying and measuring that success. So that's essentially what we had for you today. We do want to invite you to scan the QR code. Oh, forgive me. Scan the QR code on the screen, and I'm sure Lindsay will plop that into the chat as well. Yep, it's already there. So this is just a toolbox of goodies we brought for all of you. Please share with your network and your friends to help you get started. We know it's a long road, it's a hard road, but it's a wonderful, exciting, and fun one where you get to see your successes in real time all the time. So, and I think we can look at the Menti and see if there's any successes there, Lindsay. And I don't know if you want to pull that up or you want me to pull up the toolkit.
I can just read it out loud. We can keep this on the screen for folks to scan and view our email addresses. But one individual said, my university system just had one of our first big successes come out of our COP in the form of tons of professors signing up for system-wide grants to use OER in their classrooms. That is huge. That is amazing. OER grants for so many folks make the difference between not being able to provide affordable learning experiences for their students and being able to provide their students with these high quality, affordable, and engaging learning experiences. A lot of students have to choose between paying for textbooks and paying rent, paying for textbooks and buying food. Students even drop out of school entirely because they cannot afford the cost of their educational materials, particularly textbooks. So the fact that your university system was able to get tons of professors to sign up for these grants is going to change, it will literally change the trajectory of these students' lives. So that is so exciting. Congratulations. If folks have any other success stories that they want to share, feel free to put them in the Mentimeter or in the chat if that works easier for you. We would love to celebrate them. And it can be something big or something small. Celebrating the small successes, like creating your first social media post to promote your OER, that's a huge first step. One step is more powerful than none at all. So it deserves to be celebrated.
Absolutely. Yeah. And keep putting those in. We're happy to take questions. You can put them in the chat. And I can just share quickly what's inside that toolkit with y'all. There's several folders in here you might find valuable. The first folder is the session. You can see our slides in there, but there's also some blog posts. We have this one, What Are OER? That's one of our most popular blog posts on our site. So feel free to share that with others or use it to inspire your content. But again, that's one of the chief objections we get is what are OER? What are you even talking about? So we find that having that right there really helps. Lindsay has this go-to-market strategy template that really helps you form your ideas as you're having them about taking your resource to market. The marketing metrics spreadsheet, as we said, faculty marketing toolkit. This is a popular resource that so when we work with institutions and with faculty, sometimes they say, hey, we have an opportunity every once in a while to submit an image for a digital sign that's in a common area, right? Is there something we can use? So there's actually digital signs there. And this is more OpenStax specific, but they can be used to give you inspiration to build your own, or certainly what's it called there? Yeah. Build your own or amplify. I keep here. And then, oh, SEO. There is this SEO sheet in here too. This is a bit more advanced, and SEO is certainly changing, as you know, with the advent of AI and AI search results. But when folks are looking for free resources, we did some research around OER keywords that people tend to use when they're on Google or Bing. So as you're writing your content, your blog posts, or building a landing page, these might be really useful to help you attract some more traffic that's coming in. I have to keep scooting this down because the Zoom bar is in my...
Yeah, sorry, Sarah, to interrupt. We try to access the box link, but we cannot open it. It
Oh,
says
here.
verify the folder link has been removed or unable to you, unavailable.
Well, that is problematic. Is this something oh, sorry, Linz, did you have a...
Sorry, I think it should be fixed now. You may have to refresh the screen or exit out and then view the link again, but you should be able to view and download the resources through the link.
Oh, good. Norma said it works now. Okay, so that was just a setting on our end. Thank you for raising that, letting us know that that was happening there. That's great. Yeah, so there's a bunch of goodies in here. Feel free to go through and let us know if you have any questions, or if there's anything else you might need. We are very happy to collaborate and work with you all. Is there anything else you wanted to highlight, Linz? I don't see any questions in there.
Not yet, but earlier, Lindsay, you mentioned that we sign up for a grant. So where can we find that information?
I would say the two, yeah, that's a really great question. I would say the two best places to look for grants are either one, state grants that are funded and promoted by your state government, or two, grants that your university is distributing to faculty. So a lot of states across the US have textbook affordability initiatives, even places where you might not even expect. And these state governments give out OER grants. So I recommend either like Googling like Pennsylvania state OER grants or something like that, and you'll be able to see if there's any available for your state. And then secondly, for your institution, some institutions offer OER grants to faculty because they understand that it's very time intensive to create OER, and for folks, it's really important to be compensated for the hard work that they're doing to really go above and beyond. So I recommend contacting your school's library. And if your school has an OER librarian or a ZTC, zero textbook cost coordinator, I recommend reaching out to them and seeing if any grants are available at your institution that are being offered by your institution.
Awesome, thank you. And I think we have 8 minutes left for questions.
Sure.
So please either just raise your hand, unmute yourself, or leave it in the chat.
We're happy to answer questions. And in the meantime, Carrie shared in the chat that YavaPay's, if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, please correct me. YavaPay College's math department is going to be our first 100% all OER department for all courses being offered. That is incredible. Congratulations, Carrie. That's such an incredible accomplishment and will make such a big difference in the lives of students at your institution.
Yeah, that's huge. It's wonderful news. And exactly what we love to promote too, Carrie. So, let us know if that's something we can promote on our socials and show some love to the math department in YavaPay. Well, maybe we did just a good job answering all the questions as we went through. Everyone's feeling good.
Yes, and thank you for the link and very useful toolkit. Yes, that's a great idea when we have the toolkit.
Yeah.
So indeed I have a question because our team just finished an OER for Vietnamese language, and we published it on a Google site, but and on like a PDF and things like that. But do you support like external OER, or it needs to be related to OpenStax? Like how does it work?
I don't know that we necessarily like house on our website OER that's produced. We typically use it OER Commons that we refer folks to because they kind of have a broader collection there already. But what we can do is if you send it to myself or Lindsay, and this goes for everybody here, we love to share it on our social media, or we love to share it, sometimes in our newsletter, like, and get it in front of our audience, because all OER use is great OER use in our opinion. That's our belief. But yeah, our website itself is predominantly just OpenStax, and then we link off to OER Commons and some lib sites. And yeah, to Lindsay's point, I'll let you voice that over, but the listservs, the OER listservs are a great place to share that resource as well.
I second what Sarah said. Those Google groups are I get a daily digest from these groups, and pretty much every day I'm seeing OER that folks have created being shared. And oftentimes it's OER for very specific subjects. So, like music by woman artists in the 70s, for example. So it's a really great way, and even if that's not something you teach, for me, I've definitely read some of some of the stuff that people have posted just for my own leisure. I'm also going to put a link in the chat to this page from, so I put two links. The first link is the Open Textbook Library from the University of Minnesota. That's a really great place to explore open textbooks and even submit resources that you've created. And the second link that I am posting is a list of OER repositories. This list was put together by Virginia Peninsula Community College. And these are all different repositories where you can share the resources that you've created and find ones created by other individuals. So if you want to share your OER or your faculty's OER in these places, it's a really great place too.
Wow, awesome. So many helpful information.
You should see the tabs. I tried to clear them before this presentation, but so many tabs open all the time because there really is so much great information out there to search and get lost in and learn. Well, if there's no further questions, you have our email addresses. Please reach out anytime.
Oh, we have one
Yeah, about the
question.
recording.
Review. I think so. I think all the links will be published later on. And I think you will get an email from OER Arizona about the recording.
Yeah, that's my understanding too. And they might just be housed right on the Whova app, so you can rewatch anytime. But yeah, feel free to reach out to OpenStax, to myself, to Lindsay, anytime. We wish you the best of luck promoting your OER, and we really thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us today. And hope you have a great time at OER Arizona. Hope to see you at another session.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.